Perhaps I should start things with the opening hymn.
That would be fantastic. Thank you, Cathy.
Please join me. All are welcome to sing along on Zoom since we aren't live. Please join me in singing along with number 126, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Come thou fount of every blessing, tune our hearts to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. While the hope of life's perfection fills our hearts with joy and love, teach us ever to be faithful. May we still thy goodness prove. Come thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the young lamb dwell together in thy home. Hear the cries of mournful silent, feel our love grow like the sun. When we all serve one another, then our heaven is begun. Come thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desperation, show the promise of this day. Help us bind ourselves in union, help our hands tell of our love. With thine aid, O fount of justice, earth be fair as heaven above.
Thank you, Cathy. Our opening words this morning are from Dana E. Worsnop. They're entitled, I Want to Be with People. Often people say they love coming to a place with so many like-minded people. I know just what they're getting at, and I know they aren't getting it quite right. I don't want to be with a bunch of people who think just like me. I want to be in a beloved community where I don't have to think like everyone else to be loved or to be eligible for salvation. I want to be with people who value compassion, justice, love, and truth, though they have different thoughts and opinions about all sorts of things. I want to be with independent-minded people of good heart. I want to be with people who have many names and no name at all for God. I want to be with people who see me in goodness and dignity, who also see my failings and foibles and who still love me. I want to be with people who feel their interconnection with all existence and let it guide their footfalls upon the earth. I want to be with people who see life as a paradox and don't always rush to resolve it. I want to be with people who are willing to walk the tightrope that is life and who will hold my hand as I walk mine. I want to be with people who let church call them into a different way of being in the world. I want to be with people who support, encourage, and even challenge each other to higher and more ethical living. I want to be with people who inspire one another to follow the call of the Spirit. I want to be with people who covenant to be honest, engaged, and kind, who strive to keep their promises and hold me to the promises that I make. I want to be with people who give of themselves, who share their hearts and minds and gifts. I want to be with people who know that human community is often warm and generous, sometimes challenging, and almost always a grand adventure. In short, I want to be with people like you.
Please rise in spirit, since you can't rise in body today, since we're Zooming, and join me in the lighting of the chalice with these words from Christine Robinson. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope with sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. And here we go. And here's our chalice. Please join me silently, of course, in saying our church's affirmation of covenant and humming as Cathy Cox sings the doxology in English and Spanish. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Cathy?
From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung, through every land, by every tongue. De todos bajo el gran sol, surja esperanza, fe, amor, verdad, belleza en la canción de cada tierra, cada voz.
I was muted. I'll try again. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. We're entirely on Zoom today. If you didn't get the message, it was because one of our members tested positive yesterday afternoon for COVID, and that was after our memorial service for Bob Davis. So we thought it was probably a good idea to just do a Zoom service today. That's why we're seeing you now on Zoom. My name is Charlie Scholz. I'm the service associate for this morning. Mia Whittle, as you heard from opening words, is our service leader. And we're delighted to be with you. We like to say Unitarian Universalism has no creed or dogma. We're a covenant-based church. That means that we agree to live in relationship according to the Unitarian Universalist principles and our covenant of right relations. We embrace diversity in all its forms. Everyone is welcome here. You can learn more about our church and check out the events calendar at our website, UUCLC.org. If you're visiting us today on Zoom, we'd like to know you. Are there any visitors on Zoom? No visitors. Okay. If you're too shy to visit, then be sure to leave your name and email number in the chat line, in the chat box, and then we'll contact you. We know that we're not having hospitality today because we're Zooming. I just have one announcement. Our master chocolatier, Elwin Nunn, will be selling his truffles next Sunday, that is February 6th, in the library after the service. So be sure and check him out. And Judy Lick tells me that there is a gallery opening next Sunday as well after the service. It opens, I believe the gallery would open at 11:30. So there are two things to look forward to, a gallery opening and chocolate. I'm in favor. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Sankofa Read Aloud. Today's story is titled Saturday, written by Oge Mora. I hope that you enjoy this amazing story. This morning, Ava and her mother were all smiles. It was Saturday. Because Ava's mother worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday was the day they cherished. On Saturdays, they zipped to the library for weekly story time. On Saturdays, they lounged in salon chairs and got new hairdos. On Saturdays, they picnicked in the grass for a peaceful afternoon at the park. And on this Saturday, they would also ride the bus across town for a one-night-only puppet show. The day would be special. The day would be splendid. The day was Saturday. Ava and her mother could hardly wait. So, zoom, off they went. But when they reached the library, story time was canceled. Oh no, Ava cried. It's canceled, wailed Ava's mother. They paused, closed their eyes, and woof, let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Ava, her mother reassured her. Today will be special. Today will be splendid. Today is Saturday. So, zoom, off they went. But as they left the salon, whoosh, their hairdos were ruined. Oh no, Ava sobbed. Our do's. Boo-hooed Ava's mother. They paused, closed their eyes, and let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Ava, her mother reassured her. Today will be special. Today will be splendid. Today is Saturday. So, zoom, off they went. But their peaceful afternoon at the park was loud. Oh no, Ava groaned. What did you say? It's too noisy, yelled her mother. They paused, closed their eyes, and let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Ava, her mother reassured her. Today will be special. Today will be splendid. Today will be ruined if we miss that bus. So zoom to the extra special one-night-only puppet show they went. We made it, Ava exclaimed as they arrived at the theater. Thank goodness, Ava's mother sighed in relief. Hooray for Saturday! They cheered. Tickets, chirped the lady at the door. Ava's mother reached into her purse. But the tickets weren't there. Oh no, Ava's mother gasped. I left our tickets on the table. As Ava watched her mother crumpled. I've had it, she sighed. Story time was canceled. Our hair was ruined. The park was loud. And now we're missing the puppet show. I'm sorry, Ava. We looked forward to this all week, and I've messed up everything. I ruined Saturday. Ava was quiet for a moment. Then she closed her eyes and woof, let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Mommy, Ava reassured her. Today was special. Today was splendid. Saturdays are wonderful because I spend them with you. So, slowly, hand in hand, off they went. When they reached their apartment door, Ava turned to her mother. She had an idea. What if we, Ava started. You know we could, her mother began. So they did. What a beautiful day.
One of the ways we support each other in community is through the sharing of joys and sorrows and milestones. In these challenging times, it's important that we make attempts to stay connected with one another. Our church's website has a link which allows you to confidentially submit a joy, a sorrow, or a milestone. You can specify if you would like your submission shared with the caring team and or the congregation, or if you prefer it to remain confidential. While I did not receive any specific joys or sorrows this week, I want to mention a joy that I had yesterday. It was the memorial service for Bob Davis. And we had beautiful music and we had some wonderful speakers, and it was a great time to get together and celebrate this wonderful man. So that's my joy for today.
All right, our meditation this morning is by the Reverend Sarah Gibb Millspaugh and her husband, Reverend John Gibb Millspaugh. In our religious tradition, it's not just ministers and religious professionals who have the power to bless. Each of us has the power to bless another and to bless the world. Therefore, I invite everyone here virtually to participate in this blessing. The words are ordinary words, but we make the blessing real through our shared intention. If we were here in person and COVID weren't happening, I would invite us all to form physical connections, hand to hand or shoulder to shoulder. But right now, I invite everybody to imagine that we are all holding hands or shoulder to shoulder or whatever type of physical connection we might be comfortable with. And I invite you to read along with me, muted. As we have been blessed, so we bless one another to be a blessing. Breathe in, breathe out. This breath we share with all that breathes. Feel the love of the universe flowing through this community, into you and out into the universe again. Let the love of all the universe, your love, flow outward to its height, its depth, its broad extent. You are more than you know and more beloved than you know. Take up what power is yours to create safe haven, to make of earth a heaven. Give hope to those you encounter, that they may know safety from inner and outer harm. Be happy and at peace, healthy and strong, caring and joyful. Be the blessing you already are. That is enough. Blessed be. Amen.
The title of our sermon today is Renegotiating. I have to admit up front, I'm not a particularly introspective person. I'm not much on self-examination. In fact, I say with that comic book character, Popeye, I am what I am. But every once in a while, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I lie in bed and think about all those things that I probably should have done. And that's really ironic because I'm one of those, forward-looking, optimistic kind of people. So if I'm to negotiate with my past, what would that be? Well, let me see. There are two things that I gave up on in the past that I might want to renegotiate. One is serious reading, histories, biographies, science, technical things. I don't read much fiction. And the other is classroom teaching. I love both of those things. Reading because I was learning new things, and classroom teaching because then I could take my new knowledge and share that with my students. I gave up teaching 6 years ago because I became tired of the hassle of dealing with university administration. And I gave up serious reading not long after that because I thought I already knew everything I needed to know. You may have been there. Recently, I bought several new books about history, science, and a biography of a Renaissance scholar that I thought might be interesting. And after I finished reading them, I realized I had learned a number of new things. And last fall, I did teach a course at UTEP in their OLLI program. That's their lifelong learning program for seniors. At the urging of some friends, I proposed a course that the administration liked. It was my first experience with hybrid teaching, where you have a small class and a larger audience on Zoom. But it went well, and everyone seemed to like my performance. And so I guess I have started negotiation with my past. But at the same time, I'm sure there are other things in my life that will eventually require me to do that again. Things I haven't even thought of yet. One thing I do know, however, is that this congregation is on the threshold of great change. I don't know what renegotiations that will require, but I believe we can make it through that. And if it means we must renegotiate with our past to change our attitudes or our behavior, then I'm going to try my best to do it. And I hope you'll join me on this journey. Thank you.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, with all of our voices and all of our visions, with all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony.
building bridges
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Sisters, we can make such. Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony.
Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony.
Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Hey.
Woo! Air five.
Lay it out.
Morning. My name is Mary Elizabeth Whittle, but if you know me, you call me Mia. I have a confession to make. I have been mostly absent from Zoom services for the past year and a half. At the start of the pandemic, I had just had my baby. I had peripherally been aware of the circulating virus because my original degree was in biology. Yay, New Mexico Tech. And at one point in my life, I wanted to be a virologist. So I can't say I was too terribly surprised when the World Health Organization declared a pandemic in March of 2020. I can say I was shocked at how our society handled things, but more concerned about what the pandemic would mean for me as a new mom. You see, my son Tyr was a NICU baby. He is mostly healthy now with only a small heart defect that we have to keep an eye on. I'm proud to say that his other defects closed, but my start to motherhood was rougher than what it should have been, literally. The docs at the hospital we transferred him to told me he must have had a therapeutic ambulance ride, or he just wanted to see their fair city. So our bumpy ride to El Paso must have been the healing that Tyr needed. As a former emergency room nurse, though, this was not what I wanted to hear, especially after spilling my blood, sweat, and tears for the past 2 weeks, all the while trying to get my kid out of the NICU and then home. So when the pandemic was declared, I was just starting to feel like I was making serious inroads to shaking off the trauma I had from the whole NICU experience. Alas, the healing I was envisioning for myself was not to be. So my son's first Easter was a totally different experience than I envisioned while carrying. I honestly can't tell you if I ended up making the ham I thought I was going to, but I know we didn't do Easter baskets or anything cute. Same thing for second Thanksgiving and Christmas. No large family get-togethers. This time I can vouch for the nice dinner having taken place, but Tyr didn't care about that. He also didn't care that family wasn't there or that I didn't have a large breakfast spread set out. The one thing Tyr did care about was his new plastic rocking horse. That's right, for the very low price of $29.99, I gave my son sheer joy. Hours and hours of sheer joy. This past Christmas, I foolishly had expected him to have been vaccinated already. For those not fanatically checking their phones every day for the status of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine trials for 2 through 4-year-olds, Pfizer's submission of their data for children 2 through 4 indicated that there was not a sufficient immune response from their 2-dose regimen, and they are going to test whether a 3rd dose might do for protection, which is delaying their timetable. Moderna is beyond Pfizer. I don't think they've been okayed yet for people under 17. So needless to say, my holiday spirit wasn't in the same state it was for his first and second Christmases. My husband and I enjoyed putting out about half our ornaments, and then we called it good. I didn't set out the typical Christmas decorations. You get the idea. So it wasn't until I was grocery shopping on the Sunday before that I realized I didn't buy anything for the stockings. I petered around the store looking for mixed nuts in the shelf. After about 20 minutes, which is much longer than I usually allow myself to dally in public nowadays, I asked myself, why are you looking for nuts in a shell? You hate shelling nuts. Then a little voice answered my question. You're looking for nuts in the shell because that's what Mom used to put in your stocking every year, and you need to get some oranges too. Right there in the store, I made a deal with myself. The oranges I would go get. Tyr loves oranges, and so do I. But the nuts this year were going to be the shelled kind. No more wasting 75% of the nut because our picking and shelling skills are subpar. No frustration from shelling at all because that didn't serve us. My decision was validated when going through the checkout line with my favorite cashier. We started talking about stockings, and I related that story to her. She and I started giggling because she admitted she does the same thing with her kids' stockings and her grandchildren's stockings. So we both made a pact right then and there to shed the traditions that don't serve us and to enjoy making new ones. And to also stop looking for that ribbon candy that always looks so pretty, but that we didn't really care for the taste of. As 2022's opportunities are just beginning to come into view, I've been thinking a lot about what I'm going to leave in 2021. I'm leaving not attending Zoom services in 2021. In 2020 and in 2021, Zoom church just felt like too large a shift for me. I think I was stuck in the mindset that church is supposed to be in person. So I'm going to do my best to attend virtually. That said, my hope is that I will get to leave these Zoom services in 2022 soon and be back in person with my vaccinated son. I can't wait to enter our refurbished church with Tier and teach him church manners. I can't wait to see his face light up when he hears a choir of voices singing. I suspect he's going to love it. I also suspect he's going to be flabbergasted seeing a group of people together. And I think I'm going to get the experience, the joy of getting to remove my fussy toddler when he throws temper tantrums. But I also can't wait to see our religious education director, Kelly Ingram, in person again. I can't wait to see Tier's face light up at somebody else when we get to see somebody other than his dad and me read him the story. Our church has been so formative in allowing me to explore my own faith. My hope is that Tier's first church experiences will get to be in our church. My first experiences with Unitarian Universalism were prior to my time overseas, and this church was a safe place for me to ask questions and grow. It continues to be a safer space. And as a relatively new mother in 2021, 2020, 2019, my questions have felt bigger. It's now my job to ensure that another person has the freedom and information needed to formulate questions about the universe. Thank goodness for our church and the support it can provide to us. In 2021, via Zoom, I took the Building Your Own Faith class that Jeff Harris graciously facilitated for our church. For the first time in my life, I was able to formulate the questions I had for myself regarding why I envisioned the divine the way that I did. I pondered whether I truly envisioned the divine in its masculine form. I don't. Whether I think the divine is punitive and retaliatory. I don't. And whether I see the divine in everybody. I do. And it helped me to connect to this faith that I was not raised in, but whose principles resonate within my heart. This faith that allows all who value dignity and worth in everybody to join in spirit and in song. I know that 2021 had its ups and downs, just like every other year for all of us. I'm not going to stand here and pretend that I had a harder 2021 than anybody else. I know I didn't. My family is fine. We are more than fine. 2021 ended up being a blessing in disguise. The forced seclusion allowed me the opportunity to turn inward, to be still, to really honor self-sufficiency. I pretended that I was Henry Thoreau in my own little Walden. 2020 felt like desperation. I had vowed to change in 2021, and that instead of being forced to isolate, I was going to gift the isolation to my son and husband. In fact, in early 2021, as I started to process Jeff's class, I started to realize that I maybe needed to start searching for glimpses of the divine in unfamiliar places, like Lincoln National Forest. After a couple of weeks heading out into Lincoln, my heart felt full again, and it felt like the universe validated my choice of opting to keep my computer off. That was a jarring experience because in my mind, my prior faith traditions required my presence at church. But like much in 2021, I had to realign my traditions with my reality. My reality was Zoom was making me a terrible person. And for the sake of myself, my family, and my friends, I really needed to limit its use. So my tradition of going to church in person stopped, but it was replaced with spiritual growth and opportunity in ways related to nature. I had to negotiate that with myself. Perhaps more importantly, I had to renegotiate with the divine. How would we continue to further our relationship in 2021? How would I incorporate new traditions, ones that might be utterly unfamiliar and even a stretch for me to learn? What methodologies could I use to expand my spirit and my consciousness? How would I best use my time to better myself and better the world? I've not been a UU for long, perhaps 6 years practicing, but my limited understanding of our liberal faith tells me that in order to follow what we profess to value, we must have a connection to how our personal beliefs align with our shared values. Without that connection, we won't be aware of our blind spots, the areas where we might be in desperate need of cultivating more compassion. I feel like I'm probably not alone in that I've had moments of wanting to help others, but didn't have the compassion or means to do so. We've probably all had our moments of missing compassion, maybe due to resentment stemming from burnout, obligation, guilt, or even a more banal things like sleep deprivation, dehydration, hunger, or even the pandemic. We're all human after all, especially during this pandemic. What would it look like though, if in 2022, we gave ourselves some grace? Are other people grace? What if we collectively took a mindful approach when it comes to practicing traditions? We might be able to take a critical eye to traditions that we've been holding on to for the sake of tradition and reevaluate our relationship to them. We might also choose to reintegrate traditions we used to hold that aren't in practice any longer. Maybe we'd feel better. Maybe we'd see glimpses of the divine that we've never seen before. Maybe we'll continue to grow stronger as we learn how to survive this pandemic. My renegotiations of tradition have been unconscious, conscious, and somewhere in between these past couple of years. I think that my experience with my favorite cashier not only has given me the permission structure, but also the consciousness to be more intentional in my search for meaning, truth, tradition, and inner strength. As we continue to attempt to commune with one another and surf these waves of the pandemic, my hope is that we learn together which traditions serve us, which ones we might introduce to one another, that we bring intention to our visits together, both in person and virtually, and that our collective strength continues to grow. I'd like to close by reading some of the words of Erica Barron entitled, "May You Never Thirst." I hope these words might guide us in our quest for truth. May you never thirst. May your body and your spirit always have what they need. When you are in need of refreshment or new life, may the waters be available to you. May you never know thirst unto death in your body or in your soul. May you never thirst. And may your body and your spirit always thirst enough to stay alive. May you know the dissatisfaction with things as they are that leads to work for justice. May you know the thirst for new knowledge that leads to the quest for truth. May you know the desire for deeper connection that creates new and stronger relationships. May you know the spiritual thirst that keeps the soul searching and gives the sweetness of new discovery to faithful followers of spiritual paths of all kinds. May you never thirst too deeply, but may your thirst never be entirely quenched.
We've been worshiping in our refurbished sanctuary since September. Unfortunately, today we're not there. And we're streaming our services so we can reach as many people as possible. So to continue the ongoing work and for the health of this church, it is important that each of us fulfills our financial pledge. We ask you to please give generously to support the mission of this church. The way to do this, of course, is to send us a check or go to the Give link on the church's website. In addition to our regular offering, we continue to support organizations identified by the Social Justice Committee as recipients for our Change for Change program. And though you can't give your change virtually today, you can give it through the Give link. The recipient for this quarter is La Casa, whose mission is to support those affected by domestic violence while striving to prevent abuse and promote healthy relationships among individuals and families. Please give generously.
Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. If you are looking for a spiritual home and are sympathetic with Unitarian Universalist values and principles, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces may be a place for you. We believe that when you become a member, you are entering a warm and deep relationship with the church and with our members and friends. You are becoming a part of something bigger than any of us. You're becoming a part of a movement to change our community and our world. The way to do this, to join our church, is to sign the membership book. Or you can call the church, leave a message, and someone from the membership committee will contact you. Thank you.
Please join me in singing out loud. If you all stay muted, you sing out loud the next closing hymn, Filled with Loving Kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Thank you, Cathy. Our closing words today are entitled Community Means Strength by Starhawk. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned. We can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us, eyes will light up as we enter, voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of friends. Someplace where we can be free.
Please join me in saying the words to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.